in a ton of political discourse right now. I have my suspicions why the right wing doesn't like him. There may be a little bit of anti-religious fervor in there, specifically a particular kind of anti-religious fervor, the kind that says, hey, this guy's, kind of Muslim looking. Maybe we don't like that here in the United States. Kind of weird shit. But let's take a look here. What's his actual platform? All right. So he wants to freeze the rent. The rent is too damn high, basically everywhere, and he wants to freeze the rent. Okay, let's take a look here.
I'm freezing your rent as the next mayor of New York City. Let's plunge into the detail.
Okay, that's cute.
New Yorkers live in rent-stabilized units, and their rents are set by the Rent Guidelines Board. The board is made up of 9 members. The mayor appoints each one. Doing this. Eric Adams' board has raised the rent every year he's been in office. Makes sense for a guy who said, I am real estate. Currently, 8 of Adams' 9 appointees' terms are up and could be replaced tomorrow. And that's exactly what I would do. Rent freezes have happened before. De Blasio's board did it 3 times. I would do the same every year, only appointing those who understand that landlords are doing just fine. Last March, the board found that landlord incomes rose by nearly twice the increase of their expenses. The median income for a rent-stabilized household is $60,000 a year. Any rent hike could push them out of this city. For those landlords who need a little extra help, there's a city fund they can apply to. So here's to a new year, a new mayor, and the same rent.
I'm okay with that. Now, obviously, I would prefer rent being cheaper, but freezing the rent, okay, that's fine. But for people who can't afford to live there right now, this is his platform.
Let's talk about the housing crisis. Last summer, for the first time in 15 years, New Yorkers were allowed to apply for a lottery to get help paying their rent. It was open for 1 week only. More than 630,000 people applied. The big prize? Getting on a wait list with 200,000 other New Yorkers. This is the housing crisis in 2025. Unless you're wealthy, it's basically impossible to find or stay in a home that you can afford. It's time city government actually did something about this. I've already told you about my commitment to freeze the rent for every single rent-stabilized tenant. That covers about half of all New York City renters. But what about the other half? We need more housing. A lot more. As mayor, I'll build 200,000 new, permanently affordable, union-built, rent-stabilized homes over the next 10 years.
Fucking based. Every single part of that. Every fucking part of that. Union-built? Based. Affordable? Based. New units? In an attempt to scale to the needs of the community? Fucking based. Every single ounce of that. Perfect.
Years, tripling what we're currently set to build. Any 100% affordable project gets fast-tracked. No more pointless delays. We're gonna unleash the public sector, but we're still going to need more housing. That means taller buildings near subway stations, upzoning wealthy neighborhoods, and eliminating the requirement to build parking lots. But we should guide these changes through comprehensive planning, not a piecemeal approach. New York City is a majority tenant.
Also, the reason that he wants to get rid of the requirement to build parking lots is that the majority of the people who live in New York don't have fucking cars. They don't need them. If you've traveled around New York in a car, it's hell. If you've traveled around New York on foot, it's heaven.
In town, but too often our government works for the landlords. It's time to take the power back and build housing for the many. Let's get to work.
So, why is the right fucking scared of this? Well, the reason they're scared of this is that the New York City mayoral race is usually seen as a blueprint for testing other democratic strategies. Like how in the Bible Belt, if something is approved in Texas, it's used as the blueprint to go to Florida. And when something works in Florida, it's used as the blueprint to go to Georgia. And then, I don't know, Tennessee does fucking child marriage shit. It's weird. This place is weird, guys. The right is scared of this shit. Let's see here. City-owned grocery stores. Okay, let's see what's going on here.
Grocery prices are out of control. The cost of eggs and milk has skyrocketed. Some stores are even using dynamic pricing, jacking up the cost over the...
Fuck dynamic pricing. Absolutely fuck dynamic pricing. Fuck that bullshit. If you don't know what dynamic pricing is the idea that the price of a good should be able to change fluidly throughout the day. And usually it operates exactly like surge pricing does for Uber. So, do you live in the unfortunate reality of needing to pick up eggs during the same time as a lot of other people? Then I guess your egg prices are going to be either super low or super high. Let's say you work an odd job. Well, maybe those prices are going to be super low or super high for you. The pricing is going to change based on the demand. Let's say you want something from the store and you need it right now because you have guests coming over right now. Well, you can't wait for the surge pricing to change to a more affordable time, so they're going to take advantage of that with an increased price while you're there. It's fucking bullshit. It's fucking predatory. It's asinine. It's stupid. And there are fast food chains right now that are trying to do it.
Course of a day, depending on what they can get away with. It doesn't need to be this way. I'm Zohran Mamdani, and as mayor, I will create a network of city-owned grocery stores. It's like a public option for produce. We will redirect city funds from corporate supermarkets to city-owned grocery stores, whose mission is lower prices.
Make the grocery stores compete. That's great. That's the exact same model that the right is so happy about with healthcare. Why wouldn't they want that for grocery stores? They already love the model when it's used for healthcare.
Not price gouging. These stores will operate without a profit motive or having to pay property taxes or rent, and will pass on those savings to you. They'll partner with small businesses and nearby farms and sell at wholesale prices. The job of city government isn't to tinker.
So, that's also huge. You want to know why? If you are a farmer, there are two ways that you make money. You can either sell your stuff at a farmer's market, or you can throw your product in with a city collective. Now, there are obviously other smaller ways. If you've got friends and family that want to buy stuff, you can advertise on Facebook, but I'm talking about at scale. At scale, you either produce enough to sell at farmers markets, or you produce enough that your products can go to a co-op or some other collective bargaining structure. This is one of the reasons why it's so hard for people who are primarily selling soy in Iowa to be able to change the product that they're selling. Ignore the fact that soy is a product that helps nitrogenize the soil, and therefore it ends up helping with other crops because it's a crop rotation stock piece. But ignoring that information, getting your produce sent to a co-op can be hard because it means that that co-op needs to have enough farmers in the area who are willing to take your product at scale, because typically they are just step 2 in the supply chain. Step 1 is the farmers producing the stuff. Step 2 is their stuff going to the co-op. Step 3 is that co-op selling to a distributor, and then that distributor then sells their stuff to a retailer. And by the time it gets to the retailer, that's when you get the opportunity to buy it. Multiple steps in the supply chain, and everybody on the way is operating at very, very thin margins, but that's what's required to sell at scale. If you are instead giving an opportunity for that produce to be sold from local farmers markets and letting that shift from just the local farmers and their markets to grocery stores as well, you lower the amount of places in the supply chain. You lower the amount of points of sale that are required, which increases the amount of profits that that individual farmer can get for their crop. And of course, it has the other effect of having lower prices for, other people who are trying to buy it, which is the point that he's making. But from the other side of things, from the farming industry, there are other benefits to it as well. Man, why does the right hate him? Is it because he's based? Weird. Oh, yeah, buses being free. That's something else. People being able to go around New York on city buses without having to spend a fuck ton of money. It's usually like $1 or $2 per ride, but you stack that up over enough times and it's money out of your pocket. Using tax dollars to pay for that? Okay, that's fine. I'm okay with that. I am perfectly okay with that. Sarah says it's $2 in Niagara Falls and Buffalo, probably similar or worse in New York City. It was between $1 and $3 for almost everything I did in New York City. But I'm operating off memory here. Let's see here. No cost childcare. Well, that works because everybody in New York is having to work so damn much to afford the increased prices for everything. So yeah, no cost childcare. That makes sense. That absolutely makes sense. A little care package for New York's newborns? Dude, if city funds are going to care packages for newborn babies, why would you be upset at that? That's no different than having fucking lunches in school. That's the same shit. Like, oh no, the first bit of formula for the kid and some like fucking Gerber baby food and a package of diapers and a couple of other things are provided at the beginning per newborn, which is happening not as many times as you may think. In fact, Elon Musk thinks it's not happening enough anyway. That's not costing the city too fucking much. Said taxing corporations in the 1%. Yeah, okay, that's the reason that they're freaking the fuck out. His plan to bring down the cost of living through city-owned grocery stores, universal childcare, and other proposals, and he knows exactly how to pay for it too. His revenue plan will raise the corporate tax to match the New Jersey's corporate tax, which is 11.5%, which will bring in $5 billion. The fucking billionaires can absorb it. They will be fine. Green schools for a healthier New York City. New York City is a smog den. Makes sense. Protections for LGBTQ people. Let's see here. Delivering care opportunity and protection for LGBTQ workers in New York. Okay. Queer and trans people across the U.S. are facing an increasingly hostile political environment. New York City must be a refuge for LGBTQ people, but private institutions in our own city have already started capitulating to Trump's assault on trans rights. Meanwhile, the cost of living crisis confronting working class people across the city hits the LGBTQ plus community particularly hard, with the higher rates of unemployment and homelessness than the rest of the city. The Mamdani administration will protect LGBTQ people by expanding and protecting gender-affirming care citywide, making New York City an LGBTQ sanctuary city, and creating the Office of LGBTQ Affairs. Okay, sure. I don't see a fucking problem there. Why would you see a problem with protecting minorities? There's only one kind of person who sees a problem with protecting minorities. Oh, healthcare. 12% of New York residents are uninsured. To expand access to healthcare, he'll create a new corps of outreach workers to support New Yorkers navigating the healthcare system. So basically making sure that there are people who can help you navigate the Affordable Care Act. Okay, cool. Raising the minimum wage to $30. Ayo! Can I work in New York? Fuck it, I'll take a job in New York. I'll have a little part-time gig over there if it means I can live there. Fuck. I would love to live in New York. Regulating delivery apps and protecting delivery workers. Yeah, that's good. Delivery apps are fucking predatory. Their prices are huge and the profit margins for workers are tiny. That's fucking fantastic. That's fucking fantastic.
Everyone calls me Sylvia. I've had this name for 9 years. This is respect.
I'm on the Christopher Street Pier, or as it was called in Sylvia Rivera's day, the Christopher Street Docks. In the 1970s, homeless queer New Yorkers had been pushed to the margins of a hostile society. But it was here, on the physical margins of our city, that they found a home. Sylvia was one of those New Yorkers. She arrived here at the age of 11, where she immediately landed in the center of the gay rights movement. She befriended the legendary Marsha P. Johnson, protested at Stonewall, and led marches for equality. But even among the queer community, trans New Yorkers were excluded. Rivera and others were discouraged from walking in pride, their participation erased from Stonewall history.
I believe in us getting our rights, or else I would not be out there fighting for our rights.
This cruelty took a toll. Rivera developed a substance abuse problem and was often homeless. When she had nowhere left to turn, she would sleep here, waves lapping nearby. Yet no matter what hardships she faced, Sylvia Rivera advocated for others. She and Johnson founded STAR to house and feed trans kids. The Christopher Street Pier is like our city, a place of immense contradictions. It's where outsiders found belonging, and it's also where Marsha P. Johnson's body was found. The victim of a suspected murder no one was ever prosecuted for. But even amidst this, we can chart a clear path forward that makes our city inclusive. Since taking office, Donald Trump has waged a scorched earth campaign against trans people. The man with the most power has expended enormous energy targeting those with the least. New York.
He targets them because it's easy, by the way. That's the reason you get targeted if you're trans. It's because it's easy. You're an easy target. That's the cruel, honest truth of it. I don't know whether or not Donald Trump has some actual hatred for trans people, but I know that he recognizes that it is politically expedient for an authoritarian, or fascist government to have an enemy from within that it can target easily. Adolf Hitler understood this. He picked Jewish people.
New York will not sit idly by while trans people are attacked. We'll deploy hundreds of lawyers to combat Trump's hate, make New York City an LGBTQIA+ sanctuary city, and create the Office of LGBTQIA+ Affairs to allocate millions for youth and adult housing programs, as well as gender-affirming care. We can't bring Sylvia back, but we can honor her memory by building a city where trans New Yorkers are cherished. In a time of darkness, New York must be the light.
Again, based as fuck. Why would you hate this person? Why would you hate him? What's the benefit of hating him? His platform seems to be a perfectly reasonable platform. His positions seem to be perfectly reasonable on their own. It seems like he has an action plan for these things. So what's the actual issue? What's the actual problem? Well, let's take a look at a couple things here.
I think I was invoked.
Yes.
In other words, what the Assemblyman said is he has no experience. And this is not a job for someone who has no management experience to run 300,000 people, no financial experience to run $115 billion budget. He literally has never had a job. On his resume, it says he interned for his mother. This is not a job for a first-timer. Any day, you could have a hurricane, you have, God forbid, a 9/11, a health pandemic. If you don't know what you're doing, people could die.
Mr. Mamdani, want to respond?
And if we have a health pandemic, then why would New Yorkers turn back to the governor who sent seniors to their death in nursing homes? That's the kind of experience that's on offer here today.
Jesus fucking Christ. Jesus fucking Christ. So, by the way, he's currently employed for the new as a New York State Assembly member. And beforehand, he worked as a housing counselor for low-income tenants. That apparently was from 2015 2018. Wild. Wild.
What I don't have in experience, I make up for in integrity. And what you don't have in integrity, you could never make up for in experience.
Yes.
He fucking said yes. He fucking said yes. He fucking said, yes, absolutely. Yes, I can't make up for that.
May I?
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
Point, but
But let's go ahead and see. You know how earlier in this video I alluded to a particular religion that Mamdani may be part of and how that may or may not factor into people's reactions to him? Well,
can you please answer about your own relationship with the Muslim community? You did not visit mosques for many years. More recently, you have been.
Yeah, I don't think in any way the Assemblyman is representative of the Muslim community, which is a vital community in New York City, and I am very fond of, and I've been working with.
I don't believe that the Muslim is representative of the Muslim community. You know, you're right. I've seen this rhetoric before from Christians when they say that other Christians aren't representatives of the Christian community. But it's really funny because every time I've heard this kind of rhetoric, it's always just some kind of no true Scotsman. It's always just kind of no true Scotsman.
I think he's playing his own politics. Many of his positions don't even follow the Muslim faith, so I see them as two.
Why would his political positions need to follow the Muslim faith? Isn't that the exact opposite of what we would want, actually? Isn't it opposite of what we would prefer? Wouldn't we, as a melting pot nation, prefer that none of the people in our melting pot nation use their religion specifically as a political bludgeon against other people? Wouldn't that be exactly what we would be assuming? Wouldn't that be what we would hope happened? Wouldn't that be what you would fucking ask for?
Totally separate things.
Mr. Mamdani, you want to respond?
You know, it took Andrew Cuomo being beaten by a Muslim candidate in the Democratic primary for him to set foot in a mosque. He had more than 10 years, and he couldn't name a single mosque at the last debate we had that he visited. And what Muslims want in this city is what every community wants and deserves. They want equality, and they want respect. And
yeah. Before you started doing any of the stuff that you are so proud of doing, you needed to be in a negative position because of me.
It took me to get you to even see those Muslims as part of this city. And that, frankly, is something that is shameful and is why so many New Yorkers have lost faith in this politics.
Yeah, except, you know, that is totally false. I've worked with the Muslim community for many
nice try.
Many years.
Name a single mosque you went to when you were the governor. Can you name a single mosque you went to in 10 years?
Before you were ever here. They were
before I was here.
before you were even in state government. I worked with the Muslim community. Imams presided over State of the States. We worked in religious working groups, tolerance groups, anti-Semitic groups, etc.
So this is actually a criticism that I've seen levied at Bernie before by FD Signifier. And it's the point that even if Bernie has really good policies and is a generally really good person, he did not see him once go to, say, a black church and sit down with those people in Vermont. Now, whether that's actually true, whether that's been the situation, I don't know. I generally really like Bernie. But that is a criticism that has been levied from him over that way. I can see that criticism having saliency here.
All right, gentlemen.
There you go.
Okay. And the next one, of course, we have the thing that the right gets the most angry about,
let's
the free
talk about
buses conversation.
Mr. Mamdani, this is a centerpiece of your campaign. Can you explain how you will make buses free? You have 30 seconds to answer.
Absolutely. We will make buses free by replacing the revenue that the MTA currently gets from buses. This is revenue that's around $700 million or so. That's less money than Andrew Cuomo gave to Elon Musk in $959 million in tax credits when he was the governor. And the reason that we will do so is that making buses free doesn't just provide economic relief, but also public safety, because what we've seen is that it decreases assaults on bus drivers by 38.9%. New Yorkers deserve more than the slowest buses in the country. I know that because I was on the M57 not too long ago, and its average speed is 4.9 miles an hour.
We're at time, though, but the question is how you'll make them free.
We will fund the revenue that would have otherwise been brought in from fares, and that's something that we would do in partnership with Albany, and I've put forward two proposals. The first is to raise taxes on the top 1% of New Yorkers by 2%. That would raise $4 billion. The second is to raise the state's top corporate tax rate to match that of New Jersey, which would raise $5 billion.
We're going to move along, but I just want to point out to viewers that Governor Hochul has opposed raising the income tax. But Melissa, we'll move on to your question.
Not if he wins by 20 points.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what else Governor Hochul opposed was the congestion pricing.
Oh, yeah.
I think she opposed it twice. Before it actually got implemented, and then after it was about to be implemented, and then reversed herself again. Not exactly the most adept at some of these things.
So I will say that there was a little more rhetoric laced when Mamdani was asked how you will fund these things. But he did actually get there eventually, where he pointed out, hey, I'm going to fund this by raising taxes on the wealthy. A 2% tax hike on the wealthy, which by comparison is different than the tax cut that was given to Elon Musk, would fund it. Okay, cool. Neato. That answers that. That answers that perfectly fine. I don't see any problem with that. So let me get this straight. This is a guy who is fucking based on most positions. He's fucking based on most positions. He's fantastic in a debate setting. He's got cutting rhetoric, and he just seems like a swell goddamn guy, and his heart seems to be in the right place. In what world is that not the politician you want? The politician who not only cares about what you go through, who knows how to speak about it, which is important in their job field, and has a plan of action for taking care of the things you care about. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, because as far as I'm concerned, that's fucking fantastic. And the biggest fear that the right has about this, and even Democrats would have about this, is that the New York City mayoral race is often able to be used as a blueprint for other Democratic races over the course of the country over the next couple years. Do you know how many Democrats are terrified that they may need to capitulate to billionaires less? Do you know how many Democrats are terrified that they may have to actually address their community's needs? Do you know how many people in the Democratic Party are more obsessed with power and maintenance of the status quo than they are with changing things for the better? A fucking terrifying amount. Hey, you made it to the end. I want to give an extra thanks to the patrons who allow me to do this full time. I want to thank Aaron Rail, Astral, Britzkrieg, Jemshin, Poundini, Red Joker, Victoria, Jonas, Craig, Tarika, Fireshard, Smiling GM, John, Dren Hadamada, Creeper, Sagitta, you know I'm not saying that last part, Valis of Seraph, Ottoman Angel, Rooster Rachel, and Fire Panda, who are all my $20 and up patrons.